May Ellis kept her back pressed against the brick wall that bordered the stage door of the Lyric Theater, lungs strobing in and out like footlights. The closing chords of Starlight Promenade still rang in her skull. Her palms were sweaty with the memory of gripping her bouquet while the principal cast bowed. She was, as she had been every night for the past 9 weeks, the invisible understudy smiling from the shadowy corner of the stage during the curtain call, ready to step in if Sylvia Hart ever caught laryngitis. The crowd's roar faded behind the door, replaced by the hush of 36th Street at 11:53 p.m. She exhaled, expecting the street lamps, the hot dog vendor, and the neon flicker of the karaoke bar across the avenue. Instead, snow drifted over a cobblestone lane that had no business existing in Midtown in May. Horses clopped past a wrought iron fountain, and a clock tower announced the hour with a sonorous foreign chime. May blinked. Mid-blink, her dressing room mirror flashed in memory. The lights had flickered when she blew her usual good luck kiss at her reflection. She'd laughed it off as bad wiring. Now the city had rewritten itself. May? A voice she'd rehearsed falling in love with thousands of times came from behind her. She turned. Lucarette's Starlight Promenade's leading man, golden-voiced heartthrob of critics and teenage dreamers, walked toward her in a tweed coat that belonged to a different century. His jaw, his amber eyes, the familiar scar on his brow were unchanged, but the grin was smaller, shy. "What are you doing out so late?" he asked. "You'll miss the last omnibus." She stared. Luca Reyes was Puerto Rican by birth, raised in Astoria, and had never, to her knowledge, used the word omnibus. "Where are we?" she managed. He frowned. "Covent Garden, naturally. Did the director work you that hard?" The more he spoke, the less the tenor matched the Luca she knew. This voice sang tenor arias in vowel-bright British English, not smooth Manhattan baritone. "I need to sit," she muttered. He escorted her beneath a canopy of fairy lights strung between lampposts. She registered that her usual stage shoes had changed to Victorian booties. Whatever crack in reality she'd stumbled through, it had rewritten her wardrobe too. They reached a bench. Snowflakes settled on her eyelashes. Luca sat beside her, his gloved hand hovering awkwardly above hers, as though they were acquaintances on the precipice of something riskier. "You know who I am, don't you?" she asked. "Of course. You're May Ellis. We read lines over weak coffee every Tuesday at the Adelphi. You understudy for Miss Hart." He gave a rueful smile. "Someday, they'll see what I see and put your name on the marquee." She'd never stepped inside the Adelphi in London, yet his gentle certainty warmed her. "Thank you," she whispered. The clock tower chimed midnight. Light fractured. The snow exploded outward like confetti. May blinked once, twice, and the Lyrics Alley returned. No snow, no cobblestones, only asphalt and the smell of reheated pretzels. She gasped so loudly a passing stagehand spun. "You all right, Ellie?" "Fine," she lied. Her heart wasn't pounding. It was rescoring an overture. Back in her rented bedroom in Queens, she tore through the internet. No similar incidents, no contagious hallucinations. When dawn arrived, she convinced herself exhaustion had tricked her senses. The next night proved that theory wrong. After the curtain call, she touched the stage door knob, and the world rippled outward like torn fabric sewn with another thread. She stumbled onto a Brooklyn promenade lit by buzzing sodium lamps. A band played salsa under an elevated train track, and Luca nodded to the percussion in time, a guitar slung across his chest. This Luca wore scuffed sneakers, a denim jacket, and smelled of citrus and sweat. The moment he saw her, relief washed across his face. "May, I thought I'd missed you." His accent matched the real Luca's, but rougher, younger. She looked around, the same city, but askew. Billboards advertised politicians she'd never heard of, and everyone carried small, egg-shaped devices that hovered over their wrists, projecting holograms. "What year is it?" she whispered. 2074, he answered like it was Tuesday. Her legs wobbled. He steadied her with calloused fingers. Breathe. We can head to the pier. Less noise. As they walked, she grilled him. In this timeline, both of them worked as underground musicians after Broadway died in the automation riots. He remembered a life shared late night ramen, co authored protest songs, kisses stolen on fire escape. She felt none of it, but the glow in his eyes was so real, it squeezed something deep in her chest. Midnight hit, neon drained from the air. She was back behind the lyric, clutching the cold knob. 2 nights, 2 Lucariuses, 2 lifetimes between them. She began keeping a journal, filling pages with details. Snowlit London, holographic Brooklyn. She even sketched the different versions of his smile. By Friday, she formulated a hypothesis. For every curtain call, some cosmic spotlight cut across dimensions, yanking her into a parallel script. She must be the constant, Luca the variable. The question became, why? Night 3 arrived with thunder. After applause, she braced herself before exiting. The door swung open onto a dirt road beneath a carnival of stars. Cicadas buzzed. A farmhouse stood solitary against Texas plains. The air smelled like cedar and gasoline. This Luca leaned on a porch banister, strumming an acoustic guitar. He wore a plain white tee, sweatpants, and looked utterly at peace. When he saw her, he broke into a grin so wide she felt it in her knees. You came back. I think I'm dreaming, she said. Then I won't wake you. He patted the step beside him. Unlike the previous worlds, this one draped her in silence, urging confession. She told him everything, understudying on Broadway, snow in London, riots in the future. He listened, nodding slowly, as if each word were a note in a melody he'd anticipated. Maybe the universe is showing you choices, he said finally, so you know which story deserves your devotion. Why me? Why you? Because on stage, we're written partners. Off stage, you're unclaimed sheet music. Maybe I'm the variable because you're deciding how the love song plays. A meteor streaked overhead, silver against ink. She could almost feel fate tightening like a violin string. But which you is the real you? She asked. He reached out, gently tapping her sternum. Whichever one your heart chooses may. Clock chimes echoed miles away. She didn't know from where, and the scene dissolved. Monday morning, the lyrics casting notice pinched her nerves. Sylvia Hart had booked a Netflix series. May was scheduled to go on as Celestia, Queen of the Cosmos, opposite Luca's Prince Orion, starting Wednesday matinee. 3 days to learn if her nightly crossings would follow her when she became the lead. 3 days to choose a Luca. But the universe wasn't done complicating matters. Tuesday's final dress rehearsal ran long. Opening night nerves infecting everyone. When the last note hit, May's body vibrated with a thrill unlike anything she'd known. Applause, for once, belonged to her. She walked alone toward the stage door, bracing. The alley blurred, refocused into a cavernous art studio overlooking the Seine. Rain rattled the skylights. Paintings of galaxies cloaked every wall. The scent of turpentine swirled through candle smoke. Artist Luca Reyes wiped indigo from his cheek. Mon étoile, he whispered. My star. He'd painted her across the ceiling, a goddess of nebulae. The devotion in his gaze felt weighty, reverent, a sanctification masquerading as romance. She touched a canvas, her own eyes staring back, lit by violet constellations. Wonder warred with unease. In this reality, she was his muse, but did she own herself? I want you to move in, he said softly, so every stroke I paint has you in the room. It was too much, too fast, but part of her thrilled at being adored so wholly. Midnight bells from Notre Dame tolled. Paint dripped upward. The studio spun away. She landed backstage with a two-beat sob, half grief, half relief. May sprawled on a prop chaise until the house emptied. Her mind tallied Luca after Luca each a chord in a progression unresolved. 1. Victorian actor, tender and patient. 2. Futuristic rebel, fiery and determined. 3. Texan troubadour, calm and wise. 4. Parisian painter, worshipful and consuming. What did they say about her own wishes? Which version amplified her? Which dulled her? She closed her journal with a decisive snap. I'll choose after opening night. Opening night arrived on a humid gust. She warmed up vocal cords, slid into Celestia's silver gown, and met the real Luca outside his dressing room. He grinned. Ready to rule the cosmos, my queen? She swallowed hard. For a fleeting instant, she saw 4 ghostly overlays of him: the tweed coat, the denim jacket, the sweat-stained tee, the paint-spattered smock. She blinked them away. The orchestra struck up Overture. Act 1 flew by on adrenaline. By Act 2, when Prince Orion knelt to Celestia under the mechanical stars, May felt the script's romance bleed into reality, as though their duet had strung her veins with melody. Curtain call thundered. Roses flew. Thunderous applause rose in hot waves. They bowed, principal, principal. She recognized the exact instant the portal might open, when she stepped past the curtain's edge into the wings. Time slowed. Her pulse hammered. One step, and she could be somewhere else, someone else's beloved. Stage door handle awaited. She gripped it. Before she could turn, Luca appeared. Real Luca, glitter stuck in his curls. Champagne at Sardi's? He asked, laughter bright in his throat. She froze. Would the universe still snatch her? Or was the final portal choice hers? I need a minute, she told him. Stage fright, after the fact, he teased. She noticed concern behind the bravado. In a way. She tugged him into the dim alcove between costume racks. Luca, if there were 1,000 versions of you, of us, would you want to know which one was the best? He chuckled. I already got the best one. The one where you went on tonight and stole New York's heart. Her eyes stung. Before she could speak, a hush fell unnatural. Everyone around them froze mid-motion, like actors caught in strobe. A woman stepped from the shadowed corridor, tall, silver-haired, wearing a suit woven with faint constellations. Her eyes were prism bright. May Ellis, she said, voice reverberant. The final performance is near. Have you chosen your path? Who are you? A stage manager of sorts, the woman said. The play is the multiverse. The show ends when you choose. Lucas stared, slack-jawed. Is this part of the marketing gimmick? The woman ignored him. 4 nights, 4 offers of love. Each leads to a life. You may accept one, reject the rest, or cling to indecision and fade between realms. May's heartbeat became a drum roll. The woman produced a silver pocket watch. Midnight, May. Choose. The second hand swept. May pictured the alternatives: London snow, Luca supporting her ascent with gentle patience. They'd share matinees, cups of tea, whispered jokes in green rooms older than the Globe Theater. Brooklyn, 2074. Firebrand, Luca and Revolution, a life of danger and song. Their love screamed into megaphones. Texas stars, quiet Luca and acres of sky. Songwriting and simplicity, peace she'd never tasted. Paris studio, worshipful Luca, devotion so complete she might lose herself in his art. She weighed them against the Luca before her, nervous, hopeful, flawed, real, not idealized by history or future, not carved by calm or obsession. This Luca sometimes forgot lines. He hated cilantro. He laughed so hard he snorted. He had once spilt coffee on her sheet music and spent an hour blow-drying it, mouthing apologies. She loved him. She realized that like a spotlight snapping on. I choose here, May said. The silver-haired woman tilted her head. Certainty bears consequence, I know. She took Luca's hand. I won't trade real for perfect. Luca squeezed, still confused but steadfast. The pocket watch chimed. Lights surged, engulfing them in white. When vision returned, background noise unfroze. Crew members bustled past as if nothing had happened. The woman was gone, but a faint scent of ozone lingered. May released a breath she'd been hoarding. "What just happened?" Luca asked. "I'll explain over champagne," she grinned. "Long story, parallel worlds. You star in every one." "That's so?" He chuckled, wrapping an arm around her. "Tell me which version of me had the best hair." "This one," she said, meaning all of him, imperfections and all. They left the lyric into the humid New York night. No snow, no holograms, no cosmic hush, just taxi horns and the electric hum of the city. She listened for clock chimes or dimensional shivers. None came. But even after Luca hailed a cab and they slid into the back seat, May kept her fingers interlaced with his, half expecting the leather upholstery to melt into something extraordinary. It didn't. It stayed blissfully ordinary, grounding. At Sardi's, they toasted with cheap Prosecco because opening night paid in pride rather than cash. He insisted on ordering mozzarella sticks, decidedly un-Broadway chic, and she devoured them, salt and grease blessing her tongue with the taste of being alive. Present. Chosen. "What are we celebrating more?" he asked after their third toast. "Your star turn or whatever supernatural thing just wrapped?" "Both." She touched her glass to his. "And the future." "As in tomorrow's matinee?" "As in everything." His grin widened. "Well, Miss Ellis, since the universe is apparently invested in our romance, might I seize the momentum?" He produced a slip of paper, 2 tickets to the Cloisters Evening Jazz Series, scribbled date and time. "For our first official not shared with any timeline date." She laughed, the sound cutting through the chatter of other actors. "Yes." They clinked glasses again. In the mirrored bar wall, she glimpsed her reflection. Mascara smudged, hair pinned askew, smile gleaming. No flicker, no alternate attire, just herself. Yet faintly, behind her, 4 silhouettes stood. The actor, the rebel, the troubadour, the painter. They weren't waiting, only watching, fond and fading. May lifted her glass in silent farewell. "Thanks for the rehearsal." The silhouettes bowed and vanished, as any good actors do when the lead earns her spotlight. Later, when they stepped back onto 44th Street, the moon skimmed morosely across the Hudson, and May pressed closer to Luca. The air throbbed with unplayed melodies, but now she knew the choice of song was hers, not destiny's. Each step forward wrote the chord progression anew, and somewhere, maybe in a farmhouse, a cobbled square, a neon pier, or a French studio, variants of herself were making different decisions, different music. She wished them well. But she loved this version best, the one striding hand in hand down Broadway, beneath marquees shouting her name for the first time, toward a future unwritten yet wonderfully, terrifyingly real. May hummed their duet under her breath. Luca picked up the harmony without missing a beat. The city joined with the hiss of buses and the distant chorus of other lives. And the curtain, for once, stayed open.